somebody ship this thing back to Baltimore?
Hello, and welcome to the Filmspeak podcast. My name is Dave.
My name's Amanda.
And I'm your boy, Adam. What's up?
And this is our weekly conversation about movies.
Well, how was everybody's week?
My week was okay. I had a really big exam this week, and I just got it over with this morning. And I really don't know how it went, because the last 2 exams I took for this class, I, walked out of it feeling super confident, but I really got, super mediocre grades, or, not great grades. So I really don't know how this one went, and I'm pretty nervous about it, but, whatever. Besides that, I'm chilling, though. How are you guys?
Pretty good. Mellow.
Yeah, just watching too much baseball. It's getting to be too much.
Yeah, I'm still, pretty deep in sports, too. It's, the second round of NBA and the NHL playoffs. Which, honestly, the NHL playoffs I'm kind of, fucking tuned out of, because the Rangers won, which is annoying, and the Capitals are about to, lose this series, so I kind of am, out of it until next round at this point, I feel like. But go every other team that's still in it. How about that? What about... Oh, everybody else already won. I guess I'll keep talking. But yeah. Other than that, just chilling, normal shit. We're going camping this weekend.
Nice.
So it's 1 a.m. No, it's 11:45 at night. I have to go to a Walmart after this to buy a bunch of camping shit. Mainly just snacks. I have everything I need.
Yeah, you gotta have snacks.
Oh yeah, I need lots.
You gotta have sugar to get through the day. All that other good stuff.
But yeah, I'm excited to go. Just sit in the fucking woods and let my mind relax. Shit. So always an awesome thing to do.
Yeah. Hunt for Sasquatch.
Yeah. What have you watched?
The only thing I've watched besides baseball and the movie that we're going to talk about is the new DC animated movie, Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. It was based on a storyline from the 80s. That's pretty much one of the definitive Teen Titans storylines, and I think they did a pretty good job with it. They had to obviously change some things around because of new team members, but, I think they handled it pretty well. The fight choreography is always really good in the DC animated movies, and I wish that they could translate that to the real movies on the screen, but
yeah. I've never seen any of those, but I feel like at this point I would much rather watch any of that shit than any fucking DC property. Just
the majority of them that I've seen have been pretty good. So I'd recommend, definitely, let's say at least 50% of the ones that I've seen over Batman, Superman, or Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. But to check those out. If you are interested in the DC properties, I'd say check those out. The only one that I didn't really like was Justice League versus Teen Titans, because it was geared more toward, I wouldn't say children, but young adults. It could have been a lot better if it was more adult-oriented, and this Teen Titans one is a lot more adult-oriented, so it is a lot better. So, yeah, check it out. Word. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Dave?
Nope.
No, Han.
I didn't watch much this week. Again, I was really busy with school, so I didn't really get to chill that much, but I did get around to watching 50 Shades Darker, which is the latest 50 Shades of Grey movie that came out in the series. And wow. So this was actually my 3rd time trying to watch the movie, and the last time that I tried to watch it, I definitely know for a fact that I got through the whole thing, but I was super not sober, and I don't remember the last half of the movie, which is really crazy, because I remember I was in my bed, and all of a sudden the end credits were rolling, and I closed out of it and I checked the time, and it was like 1 a.m. And I was like, whoa, like, it's 1 a.m. What happened? And then when I was thinking about it the next day, I was like, I have no idea what happened in the movie. So, it's super weird. Like, I don't know if I, like, just fell asleep and didn't realize it, but it was just really strange. But, thanks, Edwin, for your cookies. And then, yeah, so then, so I waited a few weeks, and this is, like, the third time. Yeah, so I watched it sober all the way through. I know what happens. And, I will say, like, one optimistic thing is that it was definitely a step up / more interesting than the first movie, but it was still just, like, absolutely bonkers. It had what?
It seems like truly insane, for real.
Oh, yeah. No, it was ridiculous. It had everything. It had stalkers, it had sexual harassment in the workplace, it had a helicopter crash, it had Kim Basinger. Yeah, dude, it was nuts. And then, so basically it's like, because the first movie ends with the girl leaving Christian Grey, and within the first 10 minutes of the second movie, they're, like, already back together and, like, already boning again. And, yeah, so, I don't know. I really like the actress Dakota Johnson. I, like her in other stuff, and I've seen, like, interviews with her, and I'm like, oh, this chick's pretty cool. But her acting in this, as well as the first movie, like, nothing much has really changed with her acting style. It's just, like, so awkward. And I definitely know that it's on purpose, but it's, like, infuriating. There's 2 parts that I want to talk about specifically, because in the beginning of the movie they're, like, getting back together, and they had in the first movie it was, like, proposed to her that they had, like, a dom sub relationship with, like, rules and, like, a contract and, like, punishments and, like, weird, like, whatever. And then so in this movie, in the beginning, she's like, okay, I'll get back together with you, but, like, I don't want anything to do with, like, these rules or whatever. And so it's, like, a running gag in the beginning of the movie where she's like, we're gonna have a vanilla relationship. And then there's this part where they're, like, grocery shopping together, and they're, like, going back and forth with their, like, weird, like, witty banter. And she's, like, in the ice cream aisle, and she grabs a pint of Ben & Jerry's vanilla ice cream and, like, tosses it at him, and she's like, it's your new favorite flavor. Ha ha ha. I was like, can someone please just run me over with their car? And then,
I like how Ben & Jerry's was probably, like, you know, those should be, like, have their product in, like, such a big movie.
Yeah.
I know that they're promoting their vanilla ice cream.
I know.
I don't even know that Ben & Jerry's made vanilla ice cream.
I'm like, have you heard of fish food? Hello. Way more interesting. And then, yeah, and then there's this part where, like, later in the movie, they're, like, getting real serious. I'm pretty sure, like, 45 minutes into the movie, he's like, move in with me. And she's like, oh, okay. And so he proposes to her, and he's like, I want to marry you. And she's just like, why? It's fucking awesome. Oh, and the whole time, I mean, Kim Basinger is only, like, a small part, but she's, like, the old mistress, basically, like, the woman who taught him how to, like, do the shit that he's into. And, Anna, like, the main character, Dakota Johnson's character, like, just fucking hates this girl, which, like, rightfully so, because she's, like, a grown-ass woman and was, like, sleeping with this, like, really young dude and, like, abused him. But, every time she's here, Anna's like, oh my fucking god. And then, and at the end of the movie, Kim Basinger gets a drink, like a cocktail thrown in her face, and Marcia Gay Harden is like, get out of my house.
Oh my god.
It was amazing.
Harden is in this movie?
Yeah, she's Christian's mom.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's incredible.
She is amazing.
Yeah, she's a really good actress. I used to be very, very, very annoyed with her when I was younger.
Oh, yeah, well, that's like the point. Like, I
Well, I know.
You're young. Sorry.
No. I mean, it's okay. I know that it was... I think it's, like, she was a good actress because she, like, was good at being, like, that annoying, kind of, like, overbearing mother. Because I'm specifically...
Are you referring to, like, Into the Wild?
That, and also the movie, The Invisible.
I don't know what that is.
I want to say it came out in, like, 2007, but she's the mom in it, and it's with Justin Chatwin from Shameless, and basically he, like just disappears, and he's, like, in his subconscious, just, like, walking around and, like, dealing... or in, like, witnessing what, like, his peers are, like, going through without him, like, including his family, and including, this, like, weird, like, angry girl that he has this, like, crush on, but also, like, had to do with him, like, not being around. I don't remember if he actually dies or not, but,
Weird.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen it at work, actually. I honestly can't remember if it's, like, actually a good movie, but I do remember seeing it, like, a really long time ago, and she was the mom in it, and I was just like, ugh, this woman.
Yeah, my moment was The Myth. Have you ever seen that? The movie about, like, the monsters that, like, attack this town. It's like a Stephen King short
Honestly,
story.
I saw it when I was, like, 11, so I don't really remember it much.
That movie's fucking awesome. Especially, like, in there's, like, a black and white version on, like, the DVD or Blu-ray, like, feature, like, bonus features that, like, so rad. But she plays this, I guess she's, like, a Christian. She's, like, super, like, harping it on, like, everybody in real life. And then, like, when this shit, like, goes down, she's just, like, the most, like, annoying fucking person. And I was like, oh my god, this actress is, like, amazing and just, like, getting under your skin.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah, she's cool. I didn't mean to go off on a tirade. I mean, honestly, her career is probably the most interesting thing about 50 Shades Darker, I'm sure. Really, anyway.
Definitely one of them. There's also an actor that I really like who's in it, and he plays Christian's brother. His name is Luke Grimes. And, I just watched,
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, you would recognize him if you saw him, definitely. But, he's, like, an attractive dude and, like, actually a really, really good actor. And he has this relationship in the movie with, Anna's roommate. And it's way more interesting and seems, like, way more healthy than, like, the main focus of this entire franchise. Like, every time I see them on screen, I'm like... what are they up to? Because they're just, like, on a beach and, like, loving their lives. And these two people are, like, kind of miserable. But, yeah, I don't know. I would recommend getting trashed and watching these movies. But don't get too trashed, y'all, because you won't remember what happens.
Yeah, I want to watch this. I probably will have to, like, talk my girlfriend into watching it with me.
Yeah.
But I'll report back if I do.
Oh my god, please do.
I would like to watch it all at once. You know, all three. Just get the trilogy all in maybe one weekend.
Oh,
and
weird.
Then just...
You would want to wait to watch something all at one time. That's crazy. Mr. Wait till fucking Breaking Bad's over. Don't suffer the rest
I
of
did
us.
the same thing.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
I'm going to do the same thing with Mad Men, too, one day.
Mad Men's already over.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Just
Sorry,
need to
I thought you were
watch
saying
all.
that, like, you were waiting for it to end, and I was like, okay, but it already ended. Sorry.
Oh, shit. Well, Mad Men is such an example of something that he's going to watch that ended a while ago, but his long-term plan is to always just wait until the entire series or something is over before he starts watching.
I just watched The Wire like 5 years ago for the first time.
I still haven't seen The Wire.
You should.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty good. No, I like The Wire a lot.
What did you watch, Fridley?
This week, I haven't really watched like a whole ton of stuff. I've been watching some TV lately. Fargo is back for season 3, and that's been pretty good so far. It's a lot different than, like, a lot, like, I feel like less exciting kind of than season 2 was, but not in a bad way. Like, I like that the show is something different every year, like, tonally, and characters, like, you know, inspiration basically is always different, and I don't know, it's good so far. Ewan McGregor is pulling like double duty. He plays 2 characters. They're brothers. But yeah, it's good. I've watched the first 2 episodes so far, so they'll catch up on that, everyone. And King of the Road is something I've been rewatching, which is like keeping up with our like Dogtown conversation last week. I've been a little skate ripper rat dude. And I've been watching this show called King of the Road, which is basically like Road Rules or something, but it is like all skateboarding related. Like basically they get like there's like 3 teams go on like a 2-week adventure, like all these like cities, but they really don't know where they're going at all. Like it's just daily. They're getting different places to go and like missions they have to complete and stuff. But at the same time, they have like a book full of like random shit that they can do to like earn points and like stack their points, you know? And then basically at the end of the 2 weeks, they like, you know, they have this like extra party, or this like party episode where they go through all the results and, you know, everybody like wins their awards and shit. But it's like a really fun show. I'm on like episode 4 again, I think, which is like day 3 of the trip, and like these dudes, it's just like so crazy. Like these dudes are just like skating all day, like as hard as they possibly can, and then just like partying like nonstop. Other than that, it's just like it's really fun to watch. Like all these guys are like, you know, like they're all like really cool personalities. And I don't know, like the music on the show is really good and stuff. So it's a good time. If you like reality television, like quality reality television, I feel like this is like some top-notch shit.
Nice.
If you like cool shit, and you know, you like reality TV, but you don't like watching like fucking E. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's on Viceland, so it's like really accessible. Actually, like you can watch it online. You can download their app. It's on cable. But that aired last year, like last summer, and season 2 premieres June 8th, which is why I like wanted to rewatch it again, just because before like a new cast of like totally different teams are introduced. You know, I get to like hang out with these homies one more time.
Nice.
Are they pro skaters or are they just random?
Yeah, so basically the like theme in the first season. Well, okay, so I'll give like the whole history. Like, I'm pretty sure Thrasher has been doing this since like the early 2000s. That's who puts it on, but it was like a different scale thing, you know, before Viceland came along and like actually made like a television program out of it. I think they used to do like, you know, like almost like webisodes or sort of like update type of deal. I think this is how it used to go, or like, you know, maybe it was a similar show, but like on a different scale, basically. Like it was only like online and whatever, but you know, it's like they actually have like people like filming them do all their shit now, so yeah, like, you know, it looks good and stuff. But basically, you know, the 3 teams last year were Birdhouse, Toy Machine, and Chocolate, and it's like a combination of guys, like, they're pretty much all pros except for like 1 or maybe 2 guys like on the team are like amateurs, or like they're like what they call flow guys, where guys are like young, aren't on the team, but are like flirting with becoming like, you know, an amateur on the team or whatever.
Like minor leaguers.
Pretty much, like, so yeah, it's like they have like the full range, you know, and like then they all have like a driver, and like they all have like their own fucking filmer, and you know, it's cool. So Yeah, it's really, really fun show. It's only like 10 episodes, so you can like really burn through that in an afternoon or an evening or something, you know.
Are they hour or half hour?
They're an hour, but Viceland is always like very commercial heavy, so I feel like they're probably only like realistically like 40 minutes when it's like,
oh, okay.
You know, if you would be watching it online or something. But yeah, everybody should check that out before this new season airs. It's awesome. And yeah, and the other like movie I watched that's not something we're gonna mutually talk about is The Rock. Michael Bay's The Rock. I watched it like in like a fever dream at like 5:30 in the morning the other day because I couldn't sleep. Have you seen this movie, Dave?
I have not.
Okay. Basically, it like an action movie. An action movie, guys, like sort of like romantic drama, kind of like. And I don't even mean because there's like a love story, but there's like all this like fucking weird music. Like it feels like he's trying to like convey emotions through like these like action set pieces, and I guess like to an extent he does it, but mostly the movie just like feels like incredibly fucking silly to me now. Like, you know, it's like it basically is like Michael Bay wanted to turn fucking that. Well, what is the? I can't even think of the real prison name. Alcatraz. Yeah, Alcatraz into like a playground, and that's like what he does basically. But Nicolas Cage is here, like not doing his like best crazy Nicolas Cage, you know, and not doing his best like, okay, I'm working with a good director, so I'm actually going to be like awesome in this movie. He's like somewhere in the middle of that, so it's like, you know, mid-level Cage, and everyone else seems to be having like a good time, but mostly like the dialogue is hella stupid. I know a movie that we all watched except for Dave.
What is it?
We fucking tried to get him to watch it. No, this week we chose like the main movie, The Silence of the Lambs.
I did watch that.
Because good. Director Jonathan Demme died.
Ooh.
Yeah, the
Rest in
guy
peace.
was like pretty fucking innovative, and he's always like throughout his career doing like what he wanted to do. It seems like, and I don't know. There's like something about these movies to me that's very like human, no matter like how like what the circumstances are. Like they just feel very, very like true to how like a situation would really unfold. Sort of. I don't know. Like I personally watched Rachel Getting Married this week for the first time, and that movie like fucked me up, man. It was so good and just like so real, and I think like the perfect movie to watch of his like on the week that he died, maybe, because it seems like a lot of him is like coming through in that movie. Like, I don't know, that movie's really good, and Hathaway plays like an alcoholic who is going home for her sister's wedding, and I don't know, she's just like trying to keep her shit together while she's like dealing with her family, which is something that's like tough enough at times, you know, but when you're like an alcoholic and you can't really control your shit anyway, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, that movie was really good and just so like genuine, and like, I don't know, I love movies about weddings and just like families that have to like come together. And I don't know, like this movie, like she's getting married to, her sister is getting married to, she's like a white woman and she's getting married to like a black guy. And you know, the movie never once like brings that into it, and not because like I don't know, it's just not necessary, and I like really appreciated that. And I don't know, like you feel like even like in like really good like movies about weddings that have to do with like a family that interracial or a relationship like that, like I feel like that's like a trope all the time, and like movies are based around that joke, you know, but it's beautiful to like see something that's just like there's none of that in there at all, because it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just cool that that's how I feel, and it was like such a reflective, I don't know, just such a good movie to watch like this week, I feel. So rest in peace, Jonathan Demme. But yeah, we both also watched Married to the Mob.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. It was my first time seeing it, actually, and there is a lot that I found interesting. A couple of the things I'm gonna wait until we get into Silence of the Lambs, until we get into that discussion before I really go into it. But, no, again, it was my first time watching it. It was honestly, I mean, at least from what I can remember, it's the first, like, mob movie that I've seen that doesn't, like, depict the men as these, like, super macho, like, mafia badasses, you know what I mean? And, I don't know, the 80s fashion is incredible and was, like, killing me the whole entire time. Alec Baldwin was in it for 10 minutes, and I love him, especially, like, young Alec Baldwin, because he used to be a babe. Michelle Pfeiffer was and still is a babe. And I also just a really, like, comical part of the movie for me, and something that I realize that I just, like, always love to see is, like the flock of the bitchy Italian wives that, like, happen to be in every single mob movie, and they're always just, like, so fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's because I, like, see them in my own family all the time, but, like, they're always just, like, outrageous and, like, up to their own shenanigans, and it's just always really fun. Like, that was a definite, like, really funny element to the whole thing. Joan Cusack was, like, oh my god, I fucking love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's funny in this. Yeah, I had never seen this movie before this week either, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to, like, I looked at his whole career, and besides, like, his music stuff, I think I picked, like, 3, I mean, like, Philadelphia seems like it could have been in one of, like, these categories, but I don't know, like, Rachel Getting Married was, like, the dramedy, this is, like, the comedy, and Silence of the Lambs is, like, his fucking thriller. So I don't know, I purposefully wanted to, like, watch Married to the Mob this week just because I was like, I'm not always a Matthew Modine fan. He's, like, very challenging for me to look at times, and I'm not knocking the guy because he's, like, he is a really good actor, but I just don't ever, like, seek him out, you know?
Is that the guy who plays Tommy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, like, so I was, like, excited to watch a movie that I'd never seen before with, like, 2 people that I don't have any problem with Michelle Pfeiffer, and I really don't have any problem with him either, but I just feel like I never seen, like, movies that where those actors, like, really impress me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More, I guess, like, Michelle Pfeiffer back in the day a little bit, but... You know,
yeah, honestly, I think it's just, like, the time that I grew up, but, like, Michelle Pfeiffer has always been later in her middle ages, like, since I was younger. So seeing her, this is, like, the first movie I've seen with her in, like, a younger role. So I definitely enjoyed it, and, like, it's, like, a completely different way of viewing her, so.
Yeah, I mean, she's always just been Selena Kyle to me, because, I grew up watching Batman Returns, and she plays Catwoman in that.
She's an icy-looking lady with the high cheekbones and the eyes. My God.
Yeah, she's like devastating to look at, like in like a great way. Just like demand your eye.
I'm pretty sure if she ever glared at me in real life, I would like just fucking like God. Crumble.
Is this a Medusa conversation?
She's top Medusa.
Oh my God, yeah, she is.
I knew it was coming.
Hell fucking yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer is the first Medusa we've come across. I'll take it. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this movie other than, like, I was, like, you know, when you say that Alec Baldwin is only in the movie for 10 minutes, and why he's only in the movie for 10 minutes is just crazy, and I don't know, like, the movie was doing things that movies of that caliber, like, usually don't do, and it was, like, going, like, to pretty fucking dark places that, I don't know, like, but still remaining, like, having its charm the whole time, and purposefully being funny, you know?
Yeah, I loved the part where Michelle Pfeiffer and her son move into the, like, really shitty apartment, and he's just like, why is there, like, a bathtub in the kitchen? And she's just like, I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I'm probably personally gonna do, like, I wanted to do it this week harder, but, like, other shit came up, but I want to watch, like, all of this guy's movies just because I've never seen Philadelphia. I've never seen The Manchurian Candidate. I've never seen. There's like a movie he did with like Danny Glover and Oprah Winfrey that's apparently really good called Beloved, which is like based on a book about like a woman who was a slave and is like visited by. I think like maybe I'm getting this wrong. Like is visited by like a ghost of her former self or something or something like that. But yeah, I'll probably be watching that movie this week. Those 3 movies specifically this week. So maybe next week I can talk about them more.
Yeah, definitely. Really the last thing that I have to say that, I guess could probably just, like, lead into the next part of our discussion is that, like, it's super, super interesting to me that this is the movie that came out before Silence of the Lambs. And it came out 3 years beforehand. So it's kind of, like, a definite jump from this to Silence of the Lambs. I mean, they're both completely different movies.
Make another movie in between those?
I'm pretty sure he did not.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, obviously they're 2 completely different movies with like 2 completely different calibers, but it is interesting that like he made that jump and like, I don't know, pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. I wonder if like there was something going on there where he like was like looking for work and found Silence of the Lambs, or if it was like the opposite. Like who knows? Like maybe he was like signed on to that early. That's why he had to wait, or I don't know. That's weird because it seems like he's like a pretty consistent filmmaker.
Yeah.
I guess again 4 years, really 3 or 4 years is a huge gap for some guys.
Well, I know a movie we all watched. Silence of the Lambs.
Oh. I thought we were doing the silent joke from before.
Oh, are we? Should I do it again?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Alright, well, yeah. For our listeners that may not be familiar with this movie, it was directed by Jonathan Demme, and it came out in 1991. It's about a young FBI cadet played by Jodie Foster who has to confide in this like super manipulative killer, Hannibal Lecter, who's played by Anthony Hopkins, and she needs to do this in order to like get his help catching another serial killer who's like at large, and his name is Buffalo Bill, and he's nuts.
Buffalo Bill.
I don't believe it's any of our first times watching this movie. I've seen it at least 10 times, and it just really never gets old. It holds up really, really, really well.
Oh, yeah, shit, I didn't realize that you guys had both seen this movie, like, that many times.
I've seen this movie a shit ton of times, yeah.
Well, that's crazy. I am really glad that you have, but I've only seen this movie, like, in its entirety, like, 4 or 5 times. Like, actually, that's like a big number, like 3 or 4 times actually.
Okay.
Because it like scared the piss out of me when I was a kid. Not the movie, but like the hype around something called The Silence of the Lambs was always just like so puzzling for my brain to like wrap around. You know what I mean? Like I was like, very freaked out by it at a young age. So I didn't really like seek it out for a while. I was kind of scared of it. Even though, like, I've been into horror for a long time, I don't know why, like, Hannibal's face was, like, a scary thing to me back in the day. I think it was, like, his, like, mouth guard thing, like, that cover.
Yeah.
I hated that as a kid. That poster was, like, terrifying. And, like, the opposite version of the poster is the Jodie Foster, or, like, the female with, like, the butterfly, like, right on her lip. Just, like, so weird and like challenging for someone like my age back then.
I
fucking love it too now. Like it's so great.
Yeah. I mean I do too, definitely. I definitely when I was younger, I don't think I saw this movie until high school. But when I was young, it wasn't the first movie out of like all the Hannibal movies that have been made that I saw, because when I was I think I was like I was either in 5th or 6th grade, I saw Hannibal Rising. Have either of you seen that?
No.
No, that's after. That's like a prequel, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel, but to my knowledge, besides like the Hannibal TV show, it's like the last one that was made. But yeah, I saw that one when I was super young, and that movie scared the fuck out of me because it was just like really like gross at parts. Like, I mean, I think more so than Silence of the Lambs was, but I also like didn't really. I mean, I don't think I really saw Silence of the Lambs at like a super impressionable age. But no, I don't know. That movie was like my first impression of like the existence of Hannibal Lecter. So seeing Silence of the Lambs after it, I was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, mine was Hannibal. Like, Hannibal came out right when I started to be like, oh, like I'm like a little bit of like a movie guy, I feel like. And I saw that, but I don't even fucking like really remember that movie. And it didn't leave like a big impression on me, other than like I was always just like a little weirded out by Anthony Hopkins, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, after a certain age, I was always like, okay, like what's like the big deal with all this whole fucking franchise? And then like I learned that this and Manhunter, which is like the first movie that deals with all this stuff that Michael Mann made in the 80s, that movie's awesome. But Silence of the Lambs, I think, is like the best.
Yeah.
That's the best, for sure.
Yeah, I've seen...
I don't know which villain I like more, actually, of like the two, but Buffalo Bill in this movie, like, that guy's performance is fucking awesome. Like,
crazy.
He's great.
So I think that maybe what like makes this take the cake for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this movie's rad. It's won like a bunch of awards.
Yeah, I actually have that written down. This movie was released in February of the year that it came out, and when the Oscars were held, you know, of like February the next year, almost like 13 months after its release, it managed to win 5 Oscars. It won Best Picture, Best Actor and Actress, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. And I just think that's like super cool and super impressive that like a movie that came out so early in a year like just really like sweep the floor.
That's unheard of now, I feel like.
Yeah.
I wonder what other movies came out like in 1991.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sure about that. I should have read up on that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, just curious. Was this something that you saw like in the theater days?
I never saw it in the theater. I've just watched a lot, you know, throughout the years.
I mean, like, what was like was there like super like hype around this movie, or like, I mean, like, you've been a guy around that stuff for a long time. I just want to know, like, were people like actually like terrified of this thing? Do you remember? Or
I don't remember like a lot of the hype around it. I just know that there was a lot of hoopla around the movie. You know,
I'm just like sort of curious about
just the acting performances.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious because like this movie just feels very different from like most movies in general. You know, like I don't know. I love the whole like the small town vibe that is like throughout this entire movie. But you're dealing with like such like weird fucking like taboo shit. Like a guy who's like your main focus of the movie, who's like fucking eating people, but he's also this like, you know, elegant, like, you know, soft-spoken man when he wants to be, and he's like the key to this whole thing. I don't know. I really like that. But I also like that, like, it's not some young, like, hotshot male character also.
Yeah.
Or some, I mean, like, I know Jodie Foster in this movie, like, her character is, you know, gets like, sexualized a lot. But it's nice, and this is not a knock on Jodie Foster, it's nice that, like, she isn't like an overly like stunningly beautiful woman. I feel like that would have like taken me out of the movie had like say like Michelle Pfeiffer been cast. Right. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just like that she's like an everyman type of character, only, but, like, she is, I guess, just, like, looking back through, like, thinking through, like, the rest of this series, like, well, I don't know, is Julianne Moore, like, a similar character? Does anyone have any idea?
I saw Hannibal a couple years ago. I don't really remember.
Gotcha.
I kind of feel like she's the same.
William Peterson is, like, playing this type of character in Manhunter, and there's, like, somebody, like, another male character playing it, Will Graham in, like, Hannibal, the TV series. And I can't speak for Hannibal Rising, but I don't know, it's just, like, cool that she's, like, a strong female character, but isn't, like, for you, like, the viewer, like, she's not taking me out of it. Like, and I really like that about Jodie Foster, actually, that she kind of unfortunately gets these, like, really awesome roles, but, like, has, like, made her, like, own career for herself, like, playing these roles that other, maybe, like, more, like, sexualized actresses, like, wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
And I don't really know, like, where I'm going with this, but it just, I was, like, thinking that was, like, interesting, you know?
It's a different thing with her, and throughout her, and I mean, pretty much throughout her entire career, I feel like she's, like, withheld that certain standard that you're talking about. Like, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it's just cool, like, she gets to just play characters that, like, are mostly, unfortunately, it seems like reserved for male roles, you know?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever see, like, Elysium?
No.
Yeah, she's, like, you know, the angry, screaming Nan in that movie, basically. She's literally just, like, yelling the entire fucking movie, it seems. I don't know, it's just, like, Jodie Foster is always someone who's, like, been cool to me, I feel.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Jodie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of her.
It's interesting that she's, like, an active, like, director still, and, like, I don't know, she just is, like, doing, like, whatever she wants. Like, Jodie Foster's a really cool person, it seems.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
But yeah, I guess, like, something I had, like, thought about was, like, the setting. The set, like, I mentioned it a little, how, like, it feels very, like down home-ish. But, like, for me, it, like, actually does, because, like, I grew up, like, you know, traveling to, like, West Virginia all the time. Like, I've been to, like, parts of, like, the country that look exactly like where, you know, like, this shit is, like, being filmed. And I don't know, there's, like, some weird, like, thing for me where, I don't know, like, how Buffalo Bill is just, like, in a house when they end up, like, finding him, you know, like,
yeah.
He's in, like, the unsuspecting, like, suburban thing, is something that, like, has always, like, freaked me out. And this movie's, like, a really, like, perfect version of, like, that thing. Like, it does that really well. Like, it kind of, like, was cool for me to see, like, the East Coast, like, on screen like that, too. It just, like, looks fucking beautiful, like, everywhere they are.
Yeah.
I guess, like, they must have filmed a lot of this, like, in Ohio or, like, in West Virginia, like, that area, because it definitely, like, seemed, like those neighborhoods, seem very similar to all that kind of, like, rural places. The East Coast.
Something, I mean, since we're, like, speaking about visuals, something that I definitely didn't realize it at first while I was actually watching, but as I was, like, reading more about this and about Jonathan Demme in general, he has a hyper focus on people's faces and, like, more specifically their eyes. And, like, once somebody pointed that out, it kind of, like, hit me in the face all at once, pretty much, because I was like, whoa, that's, like, very, very much true, especially in this movie, whenever, like, anyone is talking to each other, but especially when, like, Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster are talking to each other. There's even parts, I'm thinking of a part with Buffalo Bill, actually. Yeah, so there's this part with Ted Levine where it's literally, like, it's, like, his face, but it, like, the bottom half of it is cut off at the bottom of the frame, and it's, like, just his eyes. And, like, there's just so much of that. And I was reading about that while watching Married to the Mob, and I was even able to, like, identify some of that. Definitely not as present, but as it is in Silence of the Lambs, but, like, yeah, it's definitely there. And I thought it was, like, super, super cool because, I mean, there's, like, so much emotion conveyed through, like, just a look, especially in this movie, and Jonathan Demme did a really, really excellent job of just, like, really zoning the viewer in on it.
That was one of the things that I wanted to talk about is Hannibal Lecter's eyes. I noticed that it was, every time you see him, it was mostly the focus, his eyes, and he just didn't blink. It was almost kind of like he was trying to hypnotize or just kind of see through any kind of defenses that you had up. He was just kind of, I don't know, poking at your defenses the whole time while just having you focus on that.
Yeah, it's super... Anthony Hopkins is so fucking good in this movie, but, like, really this role, I guess, you know, I'm sure, like, the other Hannibal, at least his performance holds up. But yeah, I don't know, there's something, like, super cool about that, how, like, right off the bat, like, when, like, she's talking to her chief, he says, like, don't let him get into your head, and it's, like, the whole time, like, I feel like as a viewer, I'm immediately, like, on edge. And then, like, it just seems so easy, and I'm always like, where is, like, the tipping point of, like, her gonna, like, being able to, like, fall into his trickery? Like, where does that work for him, you know? But I think, like, the beauty of the character is that he won't tell you when he's already got what he wants. Like, he's still gonna, like, string you along and, like, lead you a certain way. And I don't know. It's super, like, intellectual and cool. I like Hannibal as a character.
Yeah, me too.
He's like someone that he's like the ultimate character that you like. You need something from, but you know that like he's basically like just like plotting the entire time. I don't know. He's such an interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just kind of like lures you into a mental maze.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird. He's like a spider for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mean this in like a sexual way, but he's just like very predatory on like everyone that he talks to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. He is like, but in like a weirder way, where like she goes down the hallway to like meet him for the first time, and on like, you know, her way in, someone says like, I can smell your cunt, and then his answer to that is to like he wants to know how she feels about it.
Yeah.
You know, sort of. So like he like asked her, but in like a direct, like indirect way. You know, because he doesn't want to be vulgar, but he needs to know. Like that's his way of being sexual.
Yeah.
Like, he literally wants to like mind fuck you. Like it's weird. Definitely very like uncomfortable though. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like she gets like her cum. Or some man's like cum like thrown at her, and he's still like the most like devastating person. I feel like. He's, like
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And also like the fact that Hannibal's like not even the bad in this movie.
Yeah.
But he's who she has to like. The whole thing about having to like get through him to break down the wall is, I don't know. It's so weird, and like it's rewarding, or it's like anti-rewarding sort of also, because you know at the end of the movie when they like find him, just like it's like a phone call and the FBI's like, we got him, blah blah blah. You know, I don't know. It feels so weird. Like I guess like, so do you guys want to talk about like Buffalo Bill at all?
We can.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how do you guys feel about that character?
Very. I mean, he's terrifying. He like really is. But he's definitely one of the most like in your face villains, because it's like his like strange fetishes and everything are also just like really like aired out to dry for the viewer to see in like explicit ways. Like the whole like, I mean, the legendary like dick tuck scene. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's interesting. He's like interesting because, you know, he's a very tragic person, but like you from the get-go have like you already have your mindset about him, because you know that he's out there like killing people. But then like you come across this guy, he's like not the first scene, but like when you see him like tuck his dick in the mirror, like there's weirdly something like very human about that in like the weirdest way possible, where like he's being his like full version of himself, you know, even though he like fucking is like a maniac who has like a woman like in a well in his house, and he's gonna like fucking use his like part of a skin suit. I don't know, like he just, it's so weird how like I weirdly feel bad for that guy, but not in any way like what he's doing. It's more just about like a person being sort of like trapped and having to like resort to doing something that fucking weird, but not even really like knowing it, you know? Like, I don't know. Like he's like crazy, but he's not like purposefully, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like he isn't he's not like your standard predator. Like he is doing something very specific, I guess, and that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I can't really like mentally identify a similar villain.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of people that are like, I guess like, you know, sort of like mentally as like confused as him, but he just seems like, yeah, he's like in his own fucking world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, wasn't he like loosely based on like a couple like real life serial killers, like Ted Bundy being one of them?
I don't know. I know that I'm pretty positive that this like Hannibal Lecter character is like in a bunch of like there's like a handful of books, and I think he's like a villain like originally from one of the books. But maybe that character was based on an amalgamation of things or something. Yeah,
I think I read that on Letterboxd. Like, so I forget the other two names because I wasn't familiar with them, but they were saying that Buffalo Bill was like loosely based on like a couple, or I guess like maybe they didn't really know what to do with him to make him as like far out as he is, so they like pulled characteristics. I don't know. I'm not completely sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, like the skin thing, that was Ted Bundy's thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like wanting to wear skin.
Yeah, this movie is where I got the phrase "wear my skin" for when any dude is being remotely creepy to me.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a good one. I've never really thought about. I mean,
yeah, whenever a dude is being creepy, I'm like, whoa, is he about to wear my skin?
Most of the time, he probably does want to.
Yeah.
You got such nice skin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like something also like about this movie where everyone is sort of like, everyone's attaining, like trying to like attain a goal, but being like completely, they're all like away from each other. You know, like Jodie Foster and Hannibal, like I guess they get together, but they're like separated by the cage. Buffalo Bill and like his victim, like she's in like a fucking well, so he like doesn't have to look at her, type of deal. Like I know it's mainly about it's mainly like about escape, you know, but like he's kind of like, as long as like he can turn up his music and like get away from her, like, you know, not have her like in his sight, he's fine. And like the whole time Jodie Foster's like chasing, I don't know, like there's always like somebody with like motivation to like do something for themselves, kinda, but also like I guess Jodie Foster's really, I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know where I'm going. I was trying to like find a way to like talk about how like the girl being in the well is like a thing, but that scene is like fucked up when the Dutch like pulls the dog into the well.
Oh yeah.
He's like, not my dog. Precious. My fucking dog.
I know we're not there yet, but I would recast the dog.
Oh. Recast is going to be interesting. Tag yourself.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like how this movie also, there's like something about like the 90s and just like the fashion and like the fact that everyone has to like drive everywhere. I feel like this reminds me so much of like an episode of The X-Files. Like a really good episode of The X-Files where like the higher up people are like involved, but like the rogue agent has to go like figure out the case basically, and you know there's this like blooming crazy fucking like weird thing that's going on. It feels very like X-Files-ish, but in like an awesome way. I don't know if those were around the same time or not. When did The X-Files start?
1993.
Oh shit! So this predates the X-Files.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wonder how much like the X-Files like actually he was like thinking about it, like when he created it, like thinking about this movie, because I mean it's like there is like a lot of stuff you could draw like from the two of those, but either way, I mean she's not dealing with anything supernatural, so but I guess I just mean the like the FBI like procedural like drama, but with like a weird twist in it. Fucking love the X-Files. Shout out Mulder and Scully.
I do like the suspense when the FBI goes to the house where they think that Buffalo Bill is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It just ends up being, an abandoned house. And then Jodie Foster finds the guy, just happens to be by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, that...
Just kind of like stumbles onto him and like...
Oh my god, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that like...
To get like, all the cops to like come in and just take him down, and now it's just like her, like, like, hey, I just need to ask you about a guy who used to live here.
Yeah, right. Well, but yeah, it's crazy because like, like that's how I was saying earlier, how like literally it's just like, oh yeah, like we found the guy, and it's like it seems like it's like this a fucking easy breezy thing. And like then they pull the like carpet out from under you again, which they already did with like the like Hannibal fucking in the ambulance scene, which is amazing by the way.
Right.
They pull the carpet on you again where you don't know that those two people like you don't know that Jodie Foster isn't with that crew, I feel like, until like the last second. And then like fucking there's like the cut scene with like the FBI like raiding that place, and then it's like, oh shit, like she's like walking up all like nice and calm. It's like, oh my god, like it's so terrifying. I don't know.
Yeah, she's in
like,
the house.
The viewer like are a step ahead at that point, which is like a fun, playful thing this movie does all the time. But it puts you ahead of other characters type of deal.
I was gonna say that, like, that part where, like, the rest of the whole crew is in the wrong place and Jodie Foster happens to be, like, at the right place at the right time, that is, like, the starting point of, like, that whole climax there between her and Buffalo Bill specifically, and that was just, like, a really crazy way. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know, that, like, starting that whole entire part in, like, the whole pace, I mean, I wouldn't say the whole pace of the movie, I feel like the movie's pace is pretty consistent, but, like, the chain of events that, like, completely change at that certain point is just so crazy.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
The last, like, 20 minutes of the movie is just, like, whoa.
Yeah, it's wild. That scene with the fucking night goggles is, like, amazing. And, like, a game changer.
Yeah. And he's just, like, centimeters away from her face.
Yeah, he's,
like... just has no idea.
So close. But it also, like, is, like, puzzling. And, like, the fact that he, like, sees her, like he's, like, playing with her. Like, something about Buffalo Bill is so, like, puzzling to me. But, yeah, that scene's fucking wild. Like, all of a sudden, it's just, like, I don't know, like, the view of, like, the camera being, like, the POV and, like, the fucking camera is almost having, like, the lenses on. It's just so rad. And then Hannibal sneaking away, fucking wearing a
I'm having
wig.
A friend for dinner.
Well, yeah, he's chasing down that doctor from the beginning who is pretty much antagonizing the whole time. It's like, that's going to come to bite you in the ass. This guy's way smarter than you, and you're poking him in a cage. He's going to get out, and he's going to fuck you.
He's going to eat him ass first.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
With some fucking Chianti and farver beans or whatever.
Fava beans.
Yeah.
I saw this review on Letterboxd that was like, when you order lamb for dinner but you prefer Homo sapiens, so you gotta cook your own meal.
Oh my god.
It was awesome. I was like, congratulations, you just rocked my world. But I also love this movie. I'm glad that the circumstances of revisiting this movie are obviously sad with the passing of Jonathan Demme, but I am glad that I revisited it. I'm always happy to rewatch this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, we should keep talking about maybe doing like a director thing or something. We should just mutually, at least for in this case, keep watching his movies, and as we see them, we can talk about them or whatever.
Yeah,
because he's a very interesting guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Bummer he's gone.
So,
Also, one little thing that I wanted to say about Jonathan Demme. This isn't Silence of the Lambs specific, but it does ring true. Roger Corman is in all of his fucking movies, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Because he, got his start directing. He directed Caged Heat and not Women in Cages, but actually it might have been Women in Cages. Some thing like that back in the day, Roger Corman produced the movie, and it's just cool that ever since then he's had a role for fucking Roger in his movies. Pretty cool. Yeah, rest in peace. You guys want to play the game that we fucking struggle with every week?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I would recast the dog. I would recast Precious with a cuter dog.
Okay. You gotta give me a dog for another movie.
Okay, I would recast Precious with Toto from the Cheetah Girls.
Okay, word.
I would recast Buffalo Bill with John Lovitz.
Ooh.
John
Lovitz?
John Lovitz. Think about it.
You should just
completely changed.
You should watch Little Nicky. He's basically the same character.
Really?
I mean, you have ever seen Little Nicky?
I have not.
I have.
The opening scene of Little Nicky is John Lovitz in a tree watching he's watching a woman undress, and then he falls and hits his head, and he goes to hell for that because a peeping Tom, and the devil puts boobs on his head.
Oh, man.
Dude, you would fucking love Little Nicky.
Popeye's Chicken.
I can't think of another movie that's more for you than Little Nicky. I mean, I guess another Dewey movie like that at least is what I'm. You should fucking watch Little Nicky.
Oh yeah.
Quentin Tarantino is in Little Nicky.
I forgot about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's he's the priest in the subway. That fucking movie's ridiculous. I don't know why I'm talking about it so much.
I mean,
I'll just tag myself.
Okay, I have a tag for myself as well.
I mean, I don't want to tag myself as Buffalo Bill, right?
I can see you wearing some skin.
I mean, do I? No, I'm just kidding. I guess I'll tag myself. I'm Jodie Foster.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Lecter. Agent Starling.
Oh my god. What about you, Dave?
I would tag myself as the girl in the well, because I'm a great big fat person.
Oh my god. Okay.
You're a great big fat person.
Alright, you know when Hannibal Lecter cuts off the guy's face and wears it?
Yeah.
I'm the flesh mask.
Nice.
Thank you.
A thing that could be fun with this game, the tag yourself game, actually, is would be potentially if you had a line of dialogue, maybe from that character, or an impression or something.
Oh yeah.
Just to throw a wrinkle into, that could be fun.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I know I just did my Jodie Foster impression, but while I was doing it, I was thinking oh, this would be a fun wrinkle to this.
Yeah, no, that would be really funny.
Word.
Alright, do you guys have anything else you want to say?
No.
No.
Okay. Alright, well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Filmspeak. If you like what you've been hearing, make sure you check us out on social media. We are on Instagram at Filmspeak, Twitter at FilmspeakPod. We have a Facebook page. We are on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes.
Speaking of SoundCloud, we see you, Josh Wolf.
We do see you, Josh Wolf.
Shout out to Josh Wolf, Filmspeak enthusiast.
My little happy birthday boy.
Oh.
I just also wanted to, for real, give a shout out to my homie Nick Graves, who's about to turn 30. And that's why we're all going camping this weekend.
Nice.
So I know that he's probably listening to this, and you're the man.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
Nick
birthday.
Graves.
Woo! Yeah, Graves. 1 year closer to the grave.
It would be cool if your name was Rob Graves.
Cool if your name was Jake Graves.
Alright, well, anyway, guys,
well, if you
I
have
hope...
some kids, we got names for you. They're already picked up.
Yeah, big and airy.
Yeah, that's your birthday present from Filmspeak. Children's names.
Oh, my God.
Alright, peace.
Alright, bye, y'all. Have a good week.
Yeah.